Hello everyone, I'm Peter Lynch. Most people remember me as the guy who ran the Magellan Fund, but very few remember how I actually started walking around golf courses, picking up stray balls, just to listen to what wealthy people were talking about. That's how real investing begins. Not in fancy offices, not on social media, but on the ground where money quietly moves. Now let me ask you something. It's 2026, you're starting from zero, no capital, no powerful connections, and you think it will take 10 years to build real wealth? You're wrong. The world in 2026 doesn't move in decades anymore. It moves in days, in weeks, in small windows of opportunity that open and close before most people even realize what happened. Today, I'm going to show you a roadmap. Not a fantasy, not a motivational speech, but a practical, aggressive, and logical path to making $300,000 in just 60 days. And no, this is not about buying Apple stock and hoping it goes up 10%. This is about spotting inefficiencies. It's about seeing what everyone else ignores. It's about understanding where money is leaking and positioning yourself right at that leak. In 2026, the world is overloaded with technology, AI tools, automation, regulations, and confusion. Most people see chaos. Smart investors see mispricing. The biggest opportunities don't live in stock tickers. They live in boring industries, messy problems, and uncomfortable conversations that others avoid. You don't need to invent the next big thing. You don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You just need to connect a problem with a solution faster than everyone else. That's what we're going to do here. Over the next few minutes, I'll show you how to think like an operator, not a dreamer, how to identify real-world inefficiencies, how to turn overlooked problems into high-cash opportunities. This is not theory. This is field-tested thinking, so don't blink. Because every minute of this video is worth more than most people make in a month. Let's begin. Let me tell you something most people get wrong. Being broke is not your weakness. Being comfortable is. When you have money, you sit inside a glass building. You read reports, you listen to analysts, you talk to people who all think the same way. But when you're broke, you're on the street. You see what people complain about. You hear what systems fail. You feel the friction of real life. And that's where opportunity lives. In 2026, everyone is obsessed with AI, crypto, algorithms, and automation. They stare at screens, chasing charts. Meanwhile, the real money is hiding in places that look boring, dirty, or inconvenient. Let me be very clear. You do not get rich by being clever. You get rich by being useful. The fastest way to $300,000 is not by building the next big invention. It's by connecting an existing problem with an existing solution faster than anyone else is willing to. That's the mindset shift. You are not an employee. You are not a dreamer. You are a connector. Think about this. Every city in 2026 is full of inefficiencies, businesses bleeding money, regulations changing faster than companies can adapt, technologies being bought but never fully used. Those gaps, that confusion, that's your opportunity. While others argue about the future of AI, you ask a simpler question. Where is someone losing money today? And how can I stop the bleeding? This is why being broke is an advantage. You're not trapped by ego. You're not defending old decisions. You're free to walk into uncomfortable places and ask uncomfortable questions. And here's the most important shift you need to make. You are not selling labor. You are selling clarity. You are not charging for hours. You are charging for solutions. In 2026, the person who wins is not the smartest. It's the one who sees clearly while everyone else is distracted. In the next section, I'm going to show you exactly how to find these opportunities in the real world, step by step, and how to turn confusion into cash within 60 days. Stay with me. This is where the real game begins. Now we get to work. The first 10 days are not about money, they're about observation. This phase is what I call the scavenger hunt. You are not sitting behind a laptop, you are not analyzing charts, you are walking, listening, and paying attention to what most people ignore. If you want to find real money, You have to go where the problems are hiding. And in 2026, there are 3 hunting grounds you cannot ignore. 1. AI cleanup, the digital mess. Nobody talks about every company rushed into AI. They bought tools they don't understand. They subscribe to software they never use. Now they're drowning in overlapping systems, rising costs, and zero clarity. This is what I call AI pollution. Your job is simple. You walk in and say, "Let me audit your tools. I'll tell you what to cut, what to keep, and what's wasting your money." You don't need to be a programmer. You need common sense and a clear checklist. If you save a company $50,000 a year, charging $10,000 for that service is a gift, not a cost. That's opportunity number 1. 2. Green logistics, where regulations create panic, governments are cracking down on packaging waste. Warehouses are terrified of new fines. Most of them have no idea how to comply. This is where you step in. You're not selling cardboard or machines. You're selling relief. You connect logistics companies with recycling partners, packaging solutions, or waste audits. You become the bridge. One contract, one solution, tens of thousands of dollars in value. This market is messy, boring, and ignored, which is exactly why it's profitable. 3. Energy storage. When power becomes pain. Electricity prices in peak hours are exploding. Households and small businesses feel it every month. They don't want to be energy experts. They just want the bill to stop hurting. Your role? You find providers of batteries, storage systems, or hybrid solutions and connect them with people who are desperate for stability. Again, you don't invent, you connect. The mindset shift. During these first 10 days, you are not selling anything yet. You are mapping pain. You are writing down complaints. You are tracking confusion. You are listening more than you speak. By day 10, you should see patterns. When patterns appear, money follows. In the next phase, I'll show you how to turn these raw observations into structured deals and how to close your first contracts without owning a single asset. That's when this stops being theory and starts becoming income. Now we move from observation to execution. This is where most people freeze and where professionals begin to win. What you're looking at on this screen is not magic. It's a profit map. This is the moment where you stop guessing and start calculating. Let's take one example, green logistics. If you've done your homework in the first 10 days, you already know this. Warehouses are under pressure, regulations are tightening, fines are rising, and managers are afraid. That fear is your leverage. You don't need to own a recycling facility. You don't need trucks, machines, or permits. What you need is a bridge, a connection between a problem and a solution. Here's how the math works. You find a certified recycling partner willing to handle waste compliance for, say, $15,000 per client. Then you approach warehouses and say, "We can make your compliance problem disappear. Total cost, $50,000. You're not lying, you're not cheating, you're packaging value. The difference, saying it clearly, is your profit. One deal, $35,000, 6 deals, $210,000. Add consulting fees, audits, and follow-ups, and you're approaching $300,000. This is not speculation. This is structured arbitrage. And here's the key. During the first 20 days, you may earn $0. That's normal. You're building pipelines, not paychecks. You're setting meetings, collecting documents, negotiating terms. The money doesn't drip, it arrives in waves. When day 21 hits, deposits start landing. And when the first payment hits your account, something shifts. You stop thinking like someone chasing money and start thinking like someone controlling flow. At this stage, your job is not to work harder. It's to protect momentum. You document everything. You standardize your pitch. You create templates. This is how a one-time hustle becomes a repeatable system. And here's the most important mindset shift of all. You are not selling services. You are reducing risk. Businesses don't pay for effort. They pay to make problems disappear. Once you understand that, closing deals becomes easier than you ever imagined. In the next phase, I'll show you how to lock these deals in fast, how to speak to decision makers, eliminate hesitation, and turn conversations into signed agreements. That's where the real acceleration begins. Now we enter the most important phase. This is where most people fail. Not because they lack intelligence, but because they lack the courage to ask for the decision. By now, you've done the groundwork. You've identified the pain. You've mapped the inefficiency. You've built a solution that actually makes sense. Now comes the moment of truth, the conversation with the decision maker. And here's the first rule you must understand. CEOs don't buy products. They buy relief. They don't want features. They want problems to disappear. So when you sit across from them, you don't pitch, you diagnose. Let's start with the AI sector. You walk in and say, I'm not here to sell you another software tool. I'm here to stop you from burning money every month. If I can't reduce your costs, you don't pay me a single dollar. That sentence does three things instantly. It disarms resistance. It shifts risk away from them. And it positions you as a partner, not a vendor. You are no longer begging for approval. You are offering relief. Now let's move to logistics. This is where fear becomes leverage. You look the decision maker in the eye and say, you have two options. You can sign this contract for $300,000, or you can pay a fine of over $1 million next quarter. The choice is entirely yours. You are not threatening. You are clarifying reality. Executives don't fear spending money. They fear losing control. Your job is to show them that inaction is the most expensive option. At this stage, your words must be calm, slow, and precise. No pressure, no begging, just clarity. And here's the secret most people miss. You don't need to convince everyone. You only need one yes per deal. The moment one contract is signed, momentum shifts. Confidence rises. The second deal closes faster. The third becomes inevitable. By day 50, you should not be chasing prospects anymore. They should be returning your calls, because now you're not selling a promise. You're selling proof. In the next and final phase, I'll show you how to lock in these deals, secure the payments, and turn this 60-day sprint into a repeatable system that can scale far beyond this first win. This is the phase most people misunderstand. They think success comes from doing everything themselves. In reality, success comes from knowing what not to do. By day 51, your job is no longer to hustle. Your job is to orchestrate. You already have signed agreements. You already have a defined scope of work. Now you bring in the specialists, engineers, consultants, auditors, operators. You don't build the machine, you run it. This is where many beginners fail. They try to do the work themselves to save money, but professionals understand something deeper. Time is the most expensive resource in the system. You are not paying these experts to work harder. You are paying them to work faster and correctly. Your role now is coordination. You manage timelines. You align expectations. You ensure that deliverables match what was promised. You stay out of the technical weeds and keep your eyes on one thing only: execution. At this stage, something powerful happens. The clients stop questioning you. They see progress. They see results. Trust replaces doubt. And when trust appears, money flows naturally. By day 60, invoices are issued. Payments are processed. The numbers you once wrote on a whiteboard now appear in your account, not as hope, as reality. This is the moment most people never reach, and because they quit too early or try to do everything themselves, but you didn't. You built a structure, you delegated, you executed, and now you see the truth. This was never about luck. It was about systems. The beauty of this phase is that it doesn't end here. Once the framework exists, you can repeat it. New clients, new contracts, same process. In the final part, I'll show you how to turn this one-time success into a repeatable engine, a system that works with or without you. Because real wealth isn't made in one deal. It's built when the deal keeps working, even when you step away. Now let's be honest, everything I've shown you so far sounds exciting, but this is the part where most people quit, because here's the truth no one wants to hear. You will be rejected over and over again. In these 60 days, you'll need to make at least 100 to 150 serious outreach attempts. Cold calls, cold emails, meetings that go nowhere, people who don't reply, people who say maybe and disappear. If getting rejected 5 times makes you want to stop, then stop now. Close this video. Go back to your routine. There is nothing wrong with that. But if you want results others don't have, you must be willing to do what others refuse to do. This game is not about talent. It's about tolerance. Tolerance for rejection, tolerance for silence, tolerance for discomfort. Here's the metric that actually matters. I call it the shoe leather index. How many doors did you knock on today? How many calls did you make? How many real conversations did you have? Because every no statistically moves you closer to a yes. This is not motivation talk, this is math. If your close rate is 5%, then 20 serious conversations equal 1 deal. If your deal size is $50,000, then every conversation is worth $2,500, whether it ends in a yes or not. So when someone hangs up on you, you didn't lose. You just made $2,500 closer to reality. That's how professionals think. And here's the final truth. The market does not reward intelligence. It rewards persistence. The people who win are not the smartest. They are the ones who show up one more time than everyone else. In the final part, I'll show you how to turn this mental endurance into a repeatable system, one that continues to generate results long after the first deal is closed. The first $300,000 are always the hardest, not because the money is hard to find, but because they force you to change the way you think. Once you've crossed that line, something shifts inside you. You stop reacting, you start choosing. The world in 2026 isn't short on opportunities. It's overflowing with them. What's rare are people who know how to recognize them before the crowd does. Every problem you see around you right now, every frustrated business owner, every system under pressure is not a crisis. It's a signal. And once you learn how to read those signals, you'll realize something powerful. Money doesn't appear randomly. It flows toward clarity. This is not the end of the journey. It's the moment your perspective changes. In the next chapter, I'll show you something different. How certain opportunities can multiply not by 10% but by 5 to 20 times, and how those windows often exist for only a few short weeks before they disappear. If you're paying attention, you'll see them, and when you do, you'll know exactly what to do.